Hello loves. Hey, it's Scott Jones here with our first installment in our food segment of Americans Love Brit. Today we're going to be doing one of the staples of the British cuisine, especially the Sunday lunch, the Yorkshire pudding. Now the Brits call them Yorkshire puddings, but here in America, back when they were popular, they were called popovers because they rise real high and they pop over. But in any British home or any British dinner table with a heavy meat and gravy type serving, Yorkshire puddings are a great addition. They replace what we call the dinner roll. In any event, what we're going to do in these segments is I'm going to put the ingredients along the bottom of the screen so you can make them and follow along as I do this for you. And we will also down in the description have a link to the actual printable recipe. It's a real simple recipe. The ingredients that I have here today are simply 1 cup. It's kind of a heaping cup of all-purpose flour. We have a tablespoon and a half of salt, along with a 1/4 tablespoon of ground black pepper. And here we have, the recipe calls for 1 cup of eggs. It's about 5 to 6 large eggs, and they're already beaten. And in this cup here, I have 1/2 cup of milk and 1/2 cup of water already mixed together. Those are the entire ingredients for traditional Yorkshire puddings. But before we get going, we ought to start this event in the finest tradition of every British cook. Let's have a little shot of, I figures this wouldn't work, a little shot of your favorite bevy. Today I've chosen champagne. In future episodes, there's no telling what I might choose as our favorite bevy. Bevy is a British slang word for an alcoholic beverage. But here's to you. Happy cooking. Take a little shot of this and we'll get our Yorkshire puddings underway. Cheers. All right. Now, as I've said, here in the bowl, I have 1 heaping cup of all-purpose flour. And what you want to do is make a little cone in the middle. Those of you that bake, you know about this. Make a little cone in the middle. And then what we're going to do, we're going to slowly add the eggs, but beat the flour as we're adding the eggs to keep some consistency to it. Just slowly pour them in and keep the dough going round and round in the bowl until you've gotten all the eggs in there. And then of course you want to scrape along the sides and get all of that flour mixed in there. Once that is kind of combined there, we want to go ahead and put in our salt and pepper. And then also slowly add our water and milk. And again, I'm having to do this one-handed, but just keep it going around. What you want to do is to avoid getting a lot of lumps in it. But I've gone ahead and thrown that in there. Let's scrape the sides a little bit. And again, just take your whisk and keep working it. As you can see, there's, you know, some lumps in there. You want to keep getting as much air as you can into the dough, but also to beat all the lumps out of it. You pro cooks probably consider it about 60 strokes or 80 strokes, something like that. But what we're going to do is continue getting all the lumps out. Now, once you've combined all of these materials here, or all the ingredients, you need to let the dough set for at least 30 minutes, but up to an hour. So between 30 minutes and an hour, the dough needs to rest. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cover it and let it set and let the dough, or the batter, I guess, it's more of a batter than it is a dough. We're going to let it rest for 30 minutes, and then when we come back, I'll show you how to prepare the pans and all of the things you need to do. The real trick to Yorkshire puddings is how you cook them in the oven. And we're going to cover that right after we come back from letting our dough sit for 30 minutes. We'll be right back. And we're back. I hope you're still enjoying a glass of your favorite bevy in the finest tradition of British cooks. Cheers again. We've got our oven preheating at 475 degrees. These cook in a very hot oven, so about 10 minutes before my 30-minute wait period on the batter is up, I go ahead and turn the oven on and having it heat up to 475. I want to talk to you a little bit about the different types and styles of Yorkshire puddings you could do. I'm not going to make a big deal out of this, but some British households, they'll cook them in a just standard like rectangular 9 by 13 pan, and they'll put the batter in there. It'll rise up around the edges and make one big Yorkshire pudding that they'll cut up in pieces or tear pieces off of. That's one way to cook them. You can also, if you want to use something around the household, a standard 1 dozen muffin pan can work. They make very small individual Yorkshire puddings. That's an option. What I did the first time I made them, I went to Walmart and got a large muffin pan that only has 6. As you can see, it's a lot deeper and they're a lot bigger. Now, when I have historically cooked Yorkshire puddings here at home, I've used the 6-holer. You fill it up about halfway with the batter, and they make beautiful, larger size Yorkshire puddings. That sound was my oven telling me it's at 475. But this is, I think it was less than $6 at Walmart if you want to get a 6-holer large muffin pan. Perfectly okay for making Yorkshire puddings. You fill them about halfway full. For this video, I went ahead and splashed out and bought an authentic off of Amazon, and I'll put the link to this product down in the description. This is an authentic Yorkshire pudding pan. It's a professional grade one. It's very heavy. It was kind of pricey. I paid $17.91 for it on Amazon Prime, so it was free shipping. But as you can see, it's a lot shallower, and there's only 4 of them, and the holes are a little bit bigger. I mean, the traditional Yorkshire puddings get pretty large size as they rise in the oven, but this is an authentic Yorkshire pudding pan that I bought just for this video. And again, if you want to stay authentic, I put the link to this product in the description below. But the 6-holer from Walmart for less than $6, I think it was $5.87. It's the large muffin pan. It'll work just fine. But in any event, the key to successful Yorkshire puddings is in the cooking, and we're going to cover that right now. I'm going to switch back to my counter here, and of course we still have our batter here covered. It's been about 35 minutes since I broke for this, but a very, very, very important component of Yorkshire puddings is you take your favorite oil, and you want a high smoke oil like canola or vegetable oil, but personally I like butter flavored Crisco. Plain Crisco will work too, but you want to put it's about a half a teaspoon to a third of a teaspoon in each one of the holes. And if you're using the 6-holer muffin pan from Walmart, maybe a little bit less than this, but about a 1/4 teaspoon of oil in each one of the holes. And what you've got to do is you need to put these in the oven, in that 475 oven, let the oil melt, and you let the pan heat up to the point where the oil is almost smoking. Because when this pan comes out and we pour our batter in, what you want to do is make sure that it's very hot. When you pour the batter in, and you may even hear it sizzle like a pancake. If you hear that, you know you've done that right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take our 4-holer here, and you know what? I'm going to make one in our 6-holer too. I think I've got enough batter, because there's another application for these Yorkshire puddings that I want to show you here later in the video. But we're going to put both our pans in this 475 oven and let them heat up. While our pans with our oil in them are heating up in our 475 oven. I want to switch back here to our batter. You know, we've had it covered. And what you want to do while the oil is heating, you want to go ahead and give your batter about another 20 to 40 strokes. You notice I'm getting some air bubbles in there. The idea here is to get a little bit more air in the batter before you pour it in the pan. So I'm going ahead and mixing this up. And when we take our pans out, and they're going to be hot, 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 when we take our pans out, we're going to give the batter, you know, maybe a few more strokes. The more air you have in it, the better. But you're going to be dealing with some very, very, very hot pans. So you want to use your hot pads and be very careful. So when we come back, it's going to take about another 5 minutes for our pans to heat up. When we come back, we'll take them out, we'll put the batter in, and we'll show you the magic that happens with our Yorkshire puddings in the oven. Okay, the oil in my pans are smoking, but we have time for another sip of our favorite bevy. The trick here is to get the pan out. Again, be real careful. It's super hot. The oil is super hot. You'll hear a sizzle when you pour in the batter. That's perfectly normal. Again, I've used butter flavored Crisco because that's my favorite. You know, back in the day, they would put a dollop of lard in it. Not very heart healthy. But I'm going to grab our pans out of the oven, and again, using numerous pot pads. The oil is smoking. The pans are very hot. I have put some hot pads down here. Again, give a little stroke, another stroke to the deal here, the batter. You can hear it sizzle. That means you've done it right. Put another one there and another one there. We're going to put this pan back in the oven. And as I told you earlier, I am making one of my 6-holer because I'm going to show you a dessert idea that you can do even through the hot pads. That's very, very hot. On the 6-holer, I fill it about halfway through. It's sizzling. That's exactly what you want to see right there. And again, we're going to put them back in the oven. We're going to go ahead. I've got another round of batter that you could make 2 rounds with the 4-holer or 1.5 rounds with the 6-holer. But we're going to set our timer to 20 minutes. And this is vitally important, folks. Maybe you watch British comedies, or you've heard in a British program that my Yorkshires wouldn't rise. Do not, no matter how tempted you are, open the oven during the first 15 minutes of the 20 minutes of cooking, or your Yorkshires will not rise. They rise on the edge, and they make kind of a cup in the middle. And I'm going to show you a great dessert idea with the one I did in my 6-holer large muffin tin. But the larger 4-holer will make almost like a soup bowl size Yorkshire pudding. So 20 minutes in, please look through the window. Whatever you do in the first 15 minutes, do not open the oven, or your Yorkshires will either not rise or they will fall and you will have a big mess. Back after our 20 minutes and we'll show you what they look like and give you some ideas for serving it up as we conclude our video. Okay folks, we're back and the timer has gone off and our Yorkshire puddings are ready to come out of the oven. I hope you're still enjoying your favorite bevy. Cheers again. Let's go ahead and take our Yorkshires out of the oven. This is the first time I've ever cooked them in this big pan. Please be careful. They're super, super hot. And I've got 2 varieties here. Again, as I told you, I wanted to cook some here in the large pan. And I cooked one here in the smaller pan. It didn't make the indentation in the middle, but what's going to happen is you need to let these set, I want to say maybe 5 minutes or so. They're going to fall a little bit, but when they fall after cooling is different as if they don't rise in the oven. So we're going to give these 5 minutes, and then I'm going to show you some creative ways to use them, and then we'll conclude the video. We'll be right back. And we're back. Hope you're still enjoying your favorite bevy. You know, British cooking can get pretty interesting depending on how long the recipe is and so much bevy, but here's cheers to you. All right, I've taken our Yorkshires out. As you can see, these are flipped over. Usually they fall in the middle a little bit. This is the first time I've used this pan, but this is a traditional Yorkshire pudding. It's kind of an eggy, bready thing. It's hollow in the middle. You can see little bits of the pepper. But when you're having a Sunday lunch or any meal with, say, a pot roast or any heavy meat where there's gravy, these are served with what the Brits call lashings of gravy. We call it drizzling with gravy. But in any event, you want to take a little bits of gravy or fill in the middle, or just put little drizzles of gravy over. It's kind of an eggy texture bread, but it is very tasty. Now, I made one here with the my 6-holer large muffin pan. Another application for this, and I just wanted to show you, let me grab a spoon real quick because I was unprepared here. But this would be a neat idea. Get you some strawberries, put you a dollop of vanilla ice cream there in the middle, maybe put some strawberries or some raspberries around it, and then take some lashings of chocolate syrup. And Yorkshire puddings can make a great dessert idea. Here you can see where I put together just some ice cream in the middle of one of the smaller Yorkshire puddings with chocolate syrup on it. That's it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to be working hard to bring you some great recipes here on the food segment of Americans Love Britain. You know, the holiday season's coming up, and that's one of my favorite periods. We got a video coming up with, I had a recipe I published in the Insider for BBC Worldwide Americas of a Christmas trifle that is to die for it. I want to have a special guest with me to do the Christmas trifle, but the traditions, the food of the holidays in Great Britain is something I'm very excited about. It's upon us, so we're going to have some great food segments coming up, so tune in for those. Once again, I have the recipe for these Yorkshire puddings down in the description. Also down in the description, I also have a link for a special link for viewers of this channel. If you like listening to books instead of reading them, I have a special deal with audible.com just for our viewers. Click the link below and you can get a 1-month free trial and a free book download. No obligation to try it out. The link is down in the description. That's it for today. Stay tuned for more great videos on British traditions, culture, food, and television as we go forward. Be sure and give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and let us know that you like what we're doing here. Until then, happy cooking and chin chin.